This is That Dope Dad Podcast. Real talk, real growth, real fatherhood. No fake motivation, no perfect dads, just real conversations about becoming better men, husbands, and fathers. That Dope Dad Podcast starts now with your host, Michael Hedgecock.
What's going on, dads? Welcome back to another episode of That Dope Dad. If you're listening on your drive to work, sitting in the gym, mowing the lawn, or maybe hiding in your garage for just a few minutes of peace, I'm glad you're here. I want to talk about something today that has been sitting on my heart, a sentence that completely changed the way I look at fatherhood. Be a fountain, not a drain. Simple, but incredibly powerful. Be a fountain, not a drain. Because every single day, whether we realize it or not, we're bringing something into our homes. We're either bringing life or we're bringing exhaustion. We're bringing encouragement or criticism. We're bringing peace or tension. We're bringing hope or hopelessness. Every dad walks through the front door carrying something. The question is, what are your kids receiving when you walk in? I've realized something over the years. My kids just don't hear my words. They absorb my presence. They know when I'm mentally somewhere else. They know when my mind is still at work. They know when I'm carrying stress that I haven't dealt with. They know when I'm frustrated, distracted, anxious, or emotionally unavailable. And the crazy part, they don't need me to say a single word. Kids are emotional detectives. They're constantly reading us, our posture, our facial expressions, our tone, our patience, our impatience, our silence. Emotional detectives. Sometimes I think we underestimate how much they're learning from us without us ever opening our mouths. As fathers, we spend so much time wondering if we're saying the right things. But maybe the bigger question is, that's in my brain, what are we showing them? Now, don't get me wrong. Some days are hard, really hard. Some days work beats the shit out of you. Bills stack up, which brings stress. Relationships feel heavy. Maybe you're navigating co-parenting. Maybe you're fighting for more time with your kids and in and out of court. Maybe you're trying to build a business while working another job. Maybe you're carrying anxiety, depression, loneliness. Maybe you're just exhausted. I know those days, and I've lived all of those days at some point in time. I've driven home wondering if I had anything left in the tank. And if I'm being honest, and if we're being honest, some nights we don't. We feel empty. We feel worn out. We feel like everyone needs something from us. And nobody is asking how we're doing. That's real. That's very real. That's fatherhood sometimes. But here's what I've learned. Fatherhood isn't about giving your kids what's left over. It's about intentionally choosing what they'll remember. There is a difference, because your kids don't need a perfect father. They need that present one. And we're constantly going to push that message. Think about a fountain. A fountain doesn't pour water only when it's having a good day. It doesn't stop because it's inconvenient. It was designed to overflow. It was designed to give, to refresh, to bring life. And I believe fathers were created the same way. Not to be perfect, not to have every answer, but to become some kind of source of safety, a source of peace, a source of strength. Not because life is easy, but because our families need somewhere safe to land. Our families need somewhere safe to land. Now, before you misunderstand me, be a fountain doesn't mean sacrificing yourself until there's nothing left. That's actually impossible. You can't pour from a cup that's bone dry. This is why taking care of yourself matters. This is why I always talk about fitness. I always talk about mental health. I always talk about finding time with good men. This is why I talk about myself waking up and reading, walking, going to therapy if you need it, putting down the alcohol. Whatever helps you become healthier, those aren't selfish things. That's not selfish acts. They're investments, because the healthier you become, the more your family benefits. Strong fathers don't happen by accident. They're built, and we're constantly building ourselves. One decision at a time, one choice at a time. You know what your kids really want? It's usually not expensive vacations. It's not another toy, not a big and better birthday party. They want your eyes. They want your attention. They want to show you the Lego creation they built. They want you to watch them ride the bike for the 50th time. They want you to throw the football one more time until your shoulder's about to fall off. They want you to read one more story before bed, one more hug, one more minute. And sometimes, if we're honest, we're physically there, but emotionally scrolling. Our phone has become the drain. It steals moments we'll never get back. I catch myself doing it. I catch myself doing it many times. And I have to ask myself, what matters more right now? This notification or this memory that we're going to create? One day, your son won't ask you to wrestle in the living room one more time and throw a pillow at your head. Your daughter won't ask you to paint her nails or paint your toes. They won't ask you to tuck them into bed. They won't reach for your hand crossing the parking lot, crossing the street. One day, those moments quietly disappear, and nobody tells you that it was the last bedtime story. Nobody announces it was the last piggyback ride. Nobody says, "Hey, Dad, this is the last time they're going to ask you to carry them." It just happens, and then life moves forward. And one day you'll wish you had 5 more minutes, 5 more hugs, 5 more chances to say, "I'm proud of you." So while we still can, let's pour. Let's keep pouring like a fountain. Pour patience, especially when you're frustrated. Pour encouragement, especially when they fail. Let's pour affection, even when they're getting older and acting like they don't want it, that it embarrasses them. Trust me, they still need it. Pour forgiveness, because they're learning how to handle mistakes by watching how we handle our mistakes. Pour consistency. Show up again and again and again. Being consistent, because children don't need occasional greatness. They need dependable love. I think one of the greatest responsibilities we have as fathers, when I think about it, is becoming the internal voice our children will hear long after we're gone. Now think about that. The way you speak to your child today becomes the way they speak to themselves tomorrow. If they constantly hear, "I'm proud of you. You can do hard things. I believe in you. I'm here. I love you," those words become part of who they are. Yeah. But if all they hear is criticism, anger, disappointment, or silence, they become their inner voice. That becomes their inner voice too. We have more influence than we realize, so use it wisely. Maybe today you're listening, and maybe today you're thinking, "I haven't been a fountain lately." Maybe life's been overwhelming. Maybe you've lost your patience. I have recently. Maybe you've been absent emotionally. I have recently. Maybe you've made mistakes. Brother, today's a great day to change direction. Your kids don't need you to be flawless. They just need to see you growing. Sometimes the most powerful thing a father can say is, "I'm sorry. I was wrong. I'm going to do better." And that teaches humility. That teaches accountability. That teaches strength. So here's my challenge for every dad listening for this week. Tonight, before the day ends, let's try to put the phone down. Let's try to look your child in the eyes, give them a hug that lasts a little bit longer, tell them exactly why you're proud of them, ask them about their day, listen, really listen, because one intentional moment today can become a lifelong memory for them. Be the dad whose presence changes the atmosphere of the home. The dad who brings peace instead of pressure, hope instead of fear, love instead of distance. Be a fountain. Not because it's easy, but because that's who you're becoming. One day at a time, one choice at a time, one decision at a time. Your children will pour into their own families the same way you poured into them. That's legacy, that's leadership, and that's fatherhood. Thank you for spending the time with me today. If this episode encouraged you, send it to another dad who needs to hear it. Sometimes one conversation can change the direction of an entire family. And if you're part of this community, thank you for believing in what we're building. This just isn't a podcast, it's a movement of fathers choosing to become healthier, stronger, more present men. Until next time, keep showing up, keep growing, keep leading with love, and remember, be that dope dad.
Thank you for listening to That Dope Dad. Please like, subscribe, and join the conversation on our socials at ThatDopeDad_podcast on Instagram, or email Michael directly at contact@thatdopedad.com.